The reason that Christians shouldn't tithe is because in the Old Covenant, the tithe was done to support the Levites, the priests, and the temple. And none of these people were allowed to own land. And Israel was an agrarian society, so that put them pretty far back economically. Additionally, the tithe was not in cash like most pastors want. The tithe was in goods. It was 10% of your harvest, 10% of your animals or your cloth or your wine. It was stuff like that. So what's funny is nowadays 99% of churches say we don't have to obey the commandments. We don't have to obey what the Old Testament says, what the law is. What sin is transgression of the law, according to 1 John, that's in the New Testament. But all of a sudden, what one Old Testament commandment crawls back into the churches, one that actually we can't follow anymore, most people at least, and that's the tithe. And the reason is, and Paul outlines, is that some of these preachers are servants of the devil, and they think that financial gain, is godliness. And people have been hoodwinked and guilt-tripped into supporting apostate churches. And this is their fault also, by the way. Being deceived is a sin, just almost as much as it is to deceive people on purpose. But when you're deceived, it's because you're going along with something you don't believe in, because your heart is telling you, well, actually your mind is telling you one thing and your heart kind of wants what's good for it, So honestly, what I would say is if your church asks for a tithe, go up to your pastor, ask him, do you keep the food laws and the Sabbath, all that stuff? And then when they say no, just leave that church, because guilting people over a tithe is hypocrisy. Like, I think that as a rule of thumb, it might be a good standard, but not only do we not have to tithe, but we just don't live in a place where you can tithe. We don't have storehouses for our church elders. Most people are not farmers. Most people are salaried monthly or yearly in cash or, checks. So anyway, yeah, so I actually obey the commandments, but tithing is not something you can do, just how you can't go to Jerusalem for certain feasts. When you can apply an Old Testament law, it helps a lot in your life. You see the fruits, but this is not one of those cases. All right, God bless.